GMSONIC. Good morning, Corval.
Good morning, Dr. Dracula.
We got all kinds of stuff happening this week. Of course, it's all meme related.
Yeah.
If anybody just wants to make some DeFi stuff, just whenever you're ready. But we got lots of meme content. So off the top here, we're going to talk about Fantom announcing a huge meme token contest when they were at Meme Global, which was a meme convention. How many times can I squeeze the word meme into 60 seconds? We'll see. Another contestant has thrown their hat into the ring for a meme launchpad, and Solidly Labs, they are working on something called Meme Box. And today's Thursday. I think they're actually launching that today from a tweet I saw. And then just to wrap it all up, we'll just go ahead and take a little quick peek at both the Degen Express and Super Pump Launchpads, because, on our last episode, both of them were basically had placeholders put up. They were both launching earlier in the week. So figure for anyone that watched the last episode, if you haven't seen those yet, we may as well show you what they look like. But and then, next week we're thinking we might plan a little live event and make a little token on air live. So we'll have details on that. Watch Fantom Talk Twitter for that. But we're kicking that around. So we'll get that scheduled, make sure everyone has plenty of notice to come join us for that. But yeah, just for starting out, I was going to pop this up. So they announced the foundation at this Meme Global conference or whatever. They announced that there was going to be a competition with 10 million Fantom in prizes for Memecoin holders and teams. I mean, that's a large prize.
Yeah. I wonder if this is in counting the stuff from these launch pads.
I think we're still waiting on some more details. I've heard rumblings of some of the details, but I have not seen like an official tweet or thread yet. So we'll definitely be sure to cover that some more.
Is Meme Global like I've never heard of this. It sounds like something that someone came up with like 2 weeks ago. Like, how did this happen?
I don't know. It's wild. I same thing. I had not heard about this, and then I just kind of started seeing people posting pictures from it and stuff, and I was like, I guess that's a thing. I'm not even sure where they had it. I want to say Australia, but
Makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, this should be a pretty big initiative, I imagine.
It makes sense. The meme country would have the meme the meme conference.
So I don't know. I thought that was just like, I don't know. That's a big mic drop. We'll see what happens in terms of traffic. One of the only things I have heard a rumbling of, and someone will surely correct me if I'm wrong, but I did hear that it has to do with the project has to like last through the launching of Sonic, or even start around Sonic. So even though they've announced it, I think we got a little ways to go probably before things like really, heat up with it. But in terms of like metrics and the rules and all that, I don't really know anything about that yet. I guess we'll see more soon.
So now is the time to really start seriously designing the perfect meme to get into the lab.
Start brainstorming there.
Yeah. Try to get in the mind of Michael Kong. What would he want? What would he like?
Would he like a token about big muscles?
Maybe. Yeah, muscle meme, the muscle token.
So yeah, but just adding some fuel to the fire there. I'm sure as we get closer to Sonic, that'll be another thing that really intrigues people to like, join in, hop on the network. Maybe people that aren't here thinking about building something to bring it over here. That's, like I said, that's a hefty prize. So I know I might just have to cook something for that. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it's gonna bring a lot. I think it should bring a lot of activity, especially with like the low barrier of entry into memes. It's not like he's saying you need to create like a novel fiscal product.
Yeah, you're not creating a new paradigm of finance. You're going to a token creator and giving it a funny name and seeing if you can get people to make posts on Twitter about it. So
I think it's also interesting that it's specifying, at least for now, that it's for meme coin holders. So like even just like
Yeah.
holding the successful meme coins would result in you getting like rewarded. That's kind of a crazy concept.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see how that works. So I guess you can either make them or you can acquire them. I don't know
Mm.
which one is more dangerous, but maybe you could do both and then really just like up your odds.
Yeah, man.
So on top of that, like I said, I was going to see how many times I could squeeze the word meme in there at the beginning of the episode.
Starting
Um,
to lose all memeing, you know?
yeah. So,
Who's this man?
so yeah, we got Degen Express, we got Super Pump Fun, and over the week, I guess this was like right after we were talking about these earlier in the week. A third mystery contestant entered. Not really a mystery, but I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Solidly, who I guess I don't know if you're supposed to call them Solidly or Solidly Labs, since there was original Solidly, and then that kind of went dormant, and then they kind of like said, "Hey, we're gonna run with Solidly," so we'll call them Solidly Labs.
Yeah, I think
They
solidly lapse is the better to make it distinct, because I
okay.
still get it confused. Because a lot of times when people say solidly, I just think, "Oh, it's like Andre," but solidly labs is like a
It's
full
a different
team.
team, yeah,
Yeah,
different
different
team.
people.
Um, so they have announced a platform they're working on called Memebox, and the core idea on Memebox is that they've created like a new token standard, which is that's pretty
Mm,
interesting. So the ERC 42069
nice.
has a nice ring to it, but
Yeah.
I did pull up kind of like the details on how theirs is like a little different.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm curious as to what this like, this token standard would entail. Like, how is it different than a regular ERC-20?
One thing Solidly Labs is kind of known for is they're always working on kind of like they've achieved like really crazy gas savings, especially on like gas heavy chains like Ethereum. So
Mhm,
they do have a little blurb here that they've achieved a 12% increase in the swap gas savings. So that's kind of like a nice little perk on top. I guess if they take this, obviously Phantom, somebody's saying, "Oh, I'm saving 12% of a fraction of a penny." But, if I'm assuming since they are like on multiple chains, they're probably taking this to, Ethereum base, whatever. That
mhm,
could be, pretty significant. That's like a nice little perk.
mhm,
Um, so just diving into it real quick, they say there's fee abstraction. So fees are accounted separately from pool balances. So
mm,
what they're talking about here that I think is interesting, and this is probably like the main, this is like a big feature of it, is
mhm.
that, when people make meme tokens, we've discussed this before, like when you have people that are coming to buy it because there are so many rugs and so much, so many people doing sketchy things once the tokens make some money or whatever. Um, it's popular to lock your LP with like a LP locker. And what that means is, you're taking the liquidity tokens, that you have raised from a pre-sale or just the token having a lot more value, whatever, and you're locking them in a contract so that you cannot touch them. So like no one can touch them, no one can, break the LP up and sell it, whatever. So that's one way to keep projects from rugging, or they just burn the LP tokens entirely. And
Mhm.
when they burn the LP tokens, that means they can never claim the liquidity
This
tokens ever again. So they can't, like if let's say your token is dog and Phantom is the pairing token, you can't take those out and break them up and sell all the Phantom and sell all the tokens, like because let's say your
Yeah.
token goes to shoots up 1,000,000%. That's a lot of money in liquidity all of a sudden.
Mhm,
So the fee abstraction here, what they're talking about is that they're going to have like a system where the LP does get locked, but even though the LP is locked, the creator will still get the fees from the LP tokens because that was like the original incentive ever when they create when I mean DeFi. This was the liquidity system was you're taking a risk making liquidity, but to reward you, you are earning swap fees.
Yes.
So that's the difference between being a liquidity provider and just a token holder, is that you're earning those fees. So that's a big problem with meme tokens, because if you are trying to be, an ethical person and whatever, and you're trying to say, hey, the team doesn't have a big supply and we're
Mhm.
locking the tokens, you know, you're not getting those swap fees that you would be earning.
Mhm.
So
Can
that's
we
what they're saying here.
so I think this might be
Yeah.
too much, but I kind of think it'd be kind of helpful for maybe people that don't really understand how the token process works in general. I feel like I've talked to a lot of people that really don't get it. I had a friend message me and he sent me a meme. He's like, "Is this a rug or whatever?" And I was like, "I can't just tell off of a chart. There's a lot of questions here." So maybe this will make a lot of these points more significant if we kind of lay out the story baseline. We can cut this if we don't need it, but tell me if you think this is good, Dracula, and tell me if I've got it. So like with a meme coin, historically, when you launch it, right, you're just putting out a token there. There's no real money involved. You're raising money, right, to fund that initial liquidity. A lot of times, you as the developer, the creator, will seed it with initial liquidity, and what that means is, how do we price this, right? We
Hmm.
have to have a position on a deck, so people have to be able to trade it. So the problem here is because of it's such a anonymous thing, a lightweight thing to launch, if I put in like 20 grand, pair it with this token I just launched, and then it starts trading, like you start buying and selling, and no one else is really LPing. If there's a lot of sells, I can just pull all of the liquidity and all of the money is now mine. Now
Correct.
that's rugging. That's the rug, right?
Yeah.
And that's why people burn those LP tokens as like a sign of goodwill because it's like, look, no way I can withdraw it now. But
Yep.
what we're saying here, right? And the advantage of like these launch platforms is it kind of takes that control out of like a single person's hand, puts it in like a smart contract. So like
Hmm.
it's impossible for them to pull the LP because they don't own it. Um, it's like relinquished to a contract, right?
Yeah.
And so like this locker that we're talking about here is another way of just ensuring that the person launching this can't just pull the money, but the number one reason to launch a meme token isn't just price goes up. It's if I own the LP, I'm making money off everybody swapping. And so when
Yeah.
you burn it, you don't get to claim those fees. So this is a solution for you to still make a meme project, still be invested in it, still profit from it, but you can't be a little dirty little thief.
Exactly. And I think this is an interesting take, just because I know that the idea for like Pump Fun, the original, and you know, Degen Express and Super Pump have applied this, is more of like this bonding curve idea where, you know, you're trying to get your token to a certain point, and when it gets to that point, they shoot the actual liquidity out to a DEX, and then you actually have access to more of your stuff you've created.
Mhm.
Because I guess at that point, it's like, hey, this thing has legs. It's time to shoot it to a DEX. It's time to, let the creator have a little more piece of the pie here. So this is like an interesting take, because Solidly has their own DEX. So I'm assuming here, I'm assuming that these will trade more like on their DEX, and that there isn't like a lot of these rules, and whatever that some of these other platforms have. It's more just that, like, hey, you use this token standard, you can burn the LP or lock the LP, and you can still earn those fees like forever.
That's a huge bonus. And now the other side of this, right? If we were examining all the parties involved, which would be like the platform, um, in this example, Solidly Labs and Memebox, right? And you kind of touched on this. The trading for the asset will probably be, oh shit, I didn't say asset. Take that back. The trading for the token will be on their decks, because the other side of this is dexes make money when anyone swaps on them. So the logical next step in the evolution of these meme launch platforms is the integrated decks, right? To just get maximum value capture. You see
Yeah,
on
like in
Solana, it shoots to Radium. So like Pump.Fun isn't making any real, I mean, they might have a deal with Radium, but like
yeah, at
the
that point, it's
yeah,
kind of like
it's out
now
of their
it's in
hands.
there. Yeah, and and all these launch pads, they do get like some form of fee during that bonding curve area.
Mhm.
We discussed this one time on the show that Pump.fun and at its height was making millions a day in fees.
Yeah.
Um, so so it makes sense, because they already have a Dex. I'm not going to go through this whole document because it's super long. But I did see somewhere where, yeah, I think the Dex, they're still giving the majority of the fees to the creator. I think it's like 70%, but then 30% of the fees are going back to the Dex. And, they already have a Dex, they already have a token. So I'm sure they will find ways to like incentivize, their own product with those fees too. So it's a win-win, so I'm interested to see how this plays out. Like I said, I saw a tweet earlier that today's Thursday. They are planning on launching today. So by the end of today, we're gonna have 3 of these launch pads, and
Yeah.
I guess that's when the real fun is going to begin.
It seems
So
like, it reminds me almost like of the social media problem, like the competition between social media platforms where you're really dependent on there being a lot of activity and a lot of users. Like, I mean, that's kind of lame to say because like almost every app does, but I think you kind of get what I mean. Like, you can't have a successful social network unless there's like enough people conversing on it to make it a place that you want to be. And I think that's going to be the big hurdle for a lot of these uh, launch pads. It's going to be a tough competition. Like, who's going to have like, you don't wanna be on the one that's only getting, like, 1 meme every fucking 2
yeah,
days. You wanna be on the
yeah,
one where it's, like, every 5 seconds I'm seeing something new.
I think that will be interesting to see on Phantom in terms of we're still like slowly bringing back that volume and that liquidity. So I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see, now that there's going to be 3 of these platforms and everybody's kind of like choosing which one they're going to go to. I don't know if we're going to have that like pump.fun environment yet, where it's just like every second it's like lasers in your eyes. There's another
Yeah.
token popping up for like the road to Sonic. I think it'll be good. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
it's low barrier for entry. Degen Express. Basically, what I was going to say here was, anyone can make a token, but for instance, like one of the main tokens that kind of made it to, out of the bonding curve and got shot, to the decks was Phantom Kings. They
Oh,
hit the
yeah.
requirement, and for instance, this is just like a Telegram group chat.
Mhm.
So one person in particular did make it, but it was kind of like, hey, this represents our group chat. You know what I mean? It's like our group chat token. So it's like, I think that even though we're not going to necessarily have like some just, I don't know if there's going to be like enough volume and liquidity to keep all 3 of these busy all the time.
Mhm.
Um, I think that there's just so many ways you can approach it. You know what I mean? And me and Emmett were talking about this before we started recording, just how people are like like memes are starting to more so than anything just represent that random ideas can be tokenized, random trends can be tokenized. I think it'll be interesting to see where it's like, it could be an inside joke on Phantom side of crypto Twitter, whatever.
Mhm.
So here is Degen Express, and looks pretty clean, looks pretty nice. You got your
Yeah.
top guys here. I think there's already about 6 or 7 pages of tokens created, but we'll stick to the front page here. Um, so yeah, you got Phantom Familio, which is like a play on Milady and Remilio and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Phantom
Straight from the
Shrimp,
vein.
which I know that dude's been grinding the shrimp.
Oh,
Um, I,
that's a guy? That's, like,
that's a
his
guy on Twitter. So
oh, cool.
I think it's a play on the Phantom Goat. He's the Phantom Shrimp.
Yeah. Well, I
So
was thinking of it as, like, in relation to, like, a whale, like, you're, like they say, like, you're a shrimp wallet versus,
yeah,
like, a
and maybe
whale.
that's more so what it is. But I just remember after Phantom Goat, there was Phantom Shrimp, and there was what was it? Oh, it was Phantom Turtle, which I don't know if Sonic Turtle here is that guy's project,
Yeah.
but there was Phantom Turtle, Phantom Shrimp. Um,
It should be like
so
a I wanna see more farm animals, phantom lamb, phantom
Yeah, we need to
Horse.
just cover like the entire spectrum there.
Phantom Donkey. That's gonna be my token.
Dude,
It's
the
a donkey
Phantom
token.
Donkey, that would be. Yeah, I mean, you do have a raccoon here for Pedro, but just
What
to
is
click on one here, just to kind of show you chat box up here, which is like the, general chat box. So that's like just anybody can see that. Down here, you got your chart, your buys and sells, your area to actually buy and sell. And then down here is comments, which is more of like, this is more, centric to whatever the token is. So this is more of like the chat box for what you're actually looking at or buying.
Mhm. This is
So
where you engage in, like, the pumps, the collaboration to pump, it's like the proto Telegram group, that bottom chat,
exactly.
and the top right is just the general platforms chat.
Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah. So I mean, it's not like a super heavy, there's not like a lot to it. This is pretty much the platform. I mean, if you've seen Pump.Fun, then you know that it's pretty bare bones. This is actually, in my opinion, like a little, it's a little sleeker. It's a little easier to look at.
I'd
Um,
say, yeah, this
yeah,
is a much more modern design,
yeah,
than Pump.Fun's, like, obviously a little bit more retro, early 2000s. I mean,
yeah.
it looks
Like
like a
we were saying, it was more of like 4chan with trading charts.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like a Chan clone just with charts,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're gonna,
Mm.
like I said, next week we'll probably have a little event and do something fun on here. So be
Oh,
sure
yeah.
to check that out. Um, then I guess it was Tuesday or Wednesday that Super Pump got their token. I mean, not their token, their platform launched. Similar concept. It's a little more bare bones. It's a little more, I guess, on the pump fund side than
Mhm,
Degen Express. Um, but you got your same thing here. You have your tokens people have listed. They kind of have a different system for the market cap. They're kind of just showing you, instead of like saying, oh, it's 50K market cap or 10K market cap, they're just kind of showing you exactly like how much Phantom is, I guess, put into the bonding curve at that point.
mhm.
So just to pull one up here, let's see, Chris Rock with sock.
What is this?
I don't know. So yep, you got this chart here. You got your stats over here. Now this one, I guess it does show it's got a buy and sell tax. So I guess you can put that
Oh.
in when you're building your token.
Yeah, usually that's frowned upon.
Yeah, I guess for these there'll probably be a lot of people doing like transfer tax and that, or token tax. I mean, they have a couple things they're working on. They have that um, Phantom liquid staking derivative token. They have their own token that I don't think it's launched yet, but I know they just did some NFTs to kind of raise for that. Oh, here's one, 4.
Oh, this is a classic.
And isn't it? It's kind of crazy that CZ is going to prison for 4 months. I mean, just
Yeah.
the way that all worked out. But
It's like a it's
look
like
at
a
this chart.
vacation, dude. How
So
does
this one,
even what even happened here? I am I dumb? Like, how does this even happen?
I don't know. That's some magic though.
It's gotta be like a decimal point problem, right? Like, they just ran out of decimals, they, like, loop back around or something?
Yeah. That was their platform launching, and then Memebox, the Solidly one. Because like I said, I don't know if it's going to be a platform or if it's just kind of like an extra page on the Solidly actual like Solidly Dex site. But curious to see. And then I think we're done. I don't think
You're
there's
gonna
any
be
more
it?
coming. If there's a fourth one coming, someone let us know. But
You're not gonna work on one, Dracula? You're not gonna
no,
speak your
I
own?
don't think so. We got enough. I am curious about this meme box, just
Mhm,
seeing like, because it is kind of like I said, it's like a more like a token standard. They did also have like a, I guess because it's not the same process as Degen Express or Super Pump, where like you have like this all the interface kind of right there as you're building it. So I know that they also made like a little token maker. So they have like a token maker that you can go to first, and then I guess you can choose to have it in this token standard, the ERC 42069.
ERC 42069, so memey. Yeah, I think, I'm intrigued by the meme box because it does seem to be a lot more distinct than, say, the other platforms. Not to say there's not differences between them, but those additional kind of integrations and the token standard seem like a nice kind of, at the very least, like, marketing thing to do.
Yeah, and they're
Thing with
also
it.
running a contest, and I can't remember exactly what it is. I think it's $100,000 or might be way more than
Mm.
that. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Sorry if I'm wrong. But they are also running some kind of contest that's going to run while, you know, when they
Mhm.
get all this launched. So if you're not a super technical person and you're wanting to get in the meme game, I guess now's a great time. You got lots of options.
I think now's a good time to be like a kind of more creative person. People have said this for a while, but most of crypto is kind of just like marketing. So if you also fancy
Hmm.
yourself as a good marketer, good organizer of a community, you could do pretty well here pretty easily. Very low overhead, very low
Yeah.
time commitment. It's kind of exciting. I'm curious to what you think Dracula will kind of be. What do you think will be the distinguishing features of these apps that, like, picks a winner? I have some ideas, but I kinda wanna know what you think. Like, what do you think will draw the audiences more?
Something that like looking at Super Pump probably wants to work on is Degen Express is doing a good job of capturing that kind of like, you know, capturing that energy where you got like the troll box and then you have the stream of the buys constantly
Mhm.
happening. And then, you go to the page and you got the chats. The winner is going to be something where it's like, it's a very like social experience on top of everything. Because, like I said, I when I went to Degen Express yesterday, I just found myself sitting there a couple times, just looking at the looking at the chat box or
Mhm.
whatever. Because that's like part of the fun. Something starts moving, everybody gets in the chat box, starts like buy this or this token sucks, don't buy it, buy my token. So that's like a big part of it. I think what's going to keep somebody sitting there on the side. I mean, it's almost like we reference meme coins as a casino all the time, but
Mhm.
even more so, it's kind of like the casino where it's like, what's going to keep the butt in the seat staring at the screen? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, yeah. I remember, living in Vegas, they would tell us they'd pump oxygen into the casino to keep you awake and wired,
Yeah, to
keep
keep
you
it like
there.
cold and the oxygen pumping
Yeah.
in.
So you
So
don't feel sleepy. I think you're right, the social experience is a big part of it because, I mean, they really are just social phenomenon tokenized. So anything that can keep you kind of engaging and talking, and on the page is gonna help a lot. I think part of that is gonna be responsiveness too, like, I think the apps need to be fast, like, the faster ones, I think, have a stronger advantage because it's all about that quick dopamine hit too. So, like,
yeah,
having constant stimulation, and that's what Degen Express has good is because you have all that stimulation. You're seeing buys and sells on things you're not even looking at. You're seeing global chat.
yeah, like I said,
So
and furthermore, I don't know if it's just not running on the site right now, or maybe like nothing's like trending. But then, like to further add to it, there will be like if something's moving up on the leaderboard, it gets like this big flashing green, or if it's
yeah,
moving down, it gets like this like red candle shooting down, and it kind of like flashes, and it's like yeah, it's like very much like a casino kind of
yeah.
like thing where you're just like, ooh, look at that, it's moving and it's glowing.
Yeah, you need
So
those lights and sounds from the casino too. Because I remember one of the things that when I first landed on Pump.Fun, the that was the most, like, apparent was just like you're saying here, it's unfortunate we can't see it on DJ Express, but, like, seeing the things move and flash colors on Pump.Fun, like confetti would shoot out of a button at the top every time something, I think, hit, like, the threshold,
yeah,
and so, like, it's, like, creating that feeling of, like, this is a very exciting, dynamic environment, you know? You're on, like, a trading floor, people are
yeah.
screaming, shit, like, emotions are high, uh, generating that kind of fervor is, I think, really important.
Yeah, for sure. So, it was a big week here in launches. We'll see what comes next week. Like I said, I think we're gonna have a little live event. We'll keep you guys posted on that. So let's make a token and let's just like take it to Valhalla together.
Hell yeah. We'll come up with a name together. We'll come up with a branding together. Look, I got a Midjourney account. We could create some images
Yeah.
live on stream. Uh I'm kind of curious because I don't want to show too much favoritism to any one platform. Like how, like maybe we can leave this up to the audience, or we'll flip a coin or something, or maybe we just do it on all three. What's to stop us of just launching memes on all three?
Yeah, I think we'll start with Degen Express since they were the first.
Hmm.
We'll start there because it obviously also has the most volume right now, and then
Yeah,
yeah, we'll give everybody a shot though. We'll make sure that it's fair for everybody.
yeah. We'll give them the
And
Sonic
also,
love.
if anybody shows this to the SEC, I will kill you.
And if you show that to the FBI, well, we're not friends anymore. um,
I think that pretty much hits it all today. Like I said, a lot of meme content, but I'm sure I'm not. It's not that I'm sure; it's that I know there is DeFi on the horizon. So if you're getting bored of the meme content, just hang in there. We'll be chatting about DeFi very soon.
yeah,
So once again, you know where to find us on Twitter. That's Phantom Talk. Also on YouTube, GM_Sonic. You can have that just playing on your phone while you're at the office, whatever. But of course, you can also just listen if you don't want to look. So anywhere you get a podcast, GMSONIC. But yeah, we appreciate everybody watching. Next week should be fun. So we will get everybody the details on that once we get it figured out. We got to figure out like what's the best time frame for everybody in terms of like, countries and how it is with the UTC stuff. So we
yeah.
want to make sure everybody can participate the best we can.
Right on. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you are too. And thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll see you live next week, hopefully.